Hi everyone, it's just Cassie. How's everyone this week? I just had an evolution in my thinking last week. I always have seen myself as a healer as like a lamppost in the dark. I've never gone out to save everyone, and I think just by influencing a person is enough. I know my title was quite confronting just because I wanted to stir the pot a little bit to give healers a new way of thinking. It's lampposts in a dark night, why we can't save everyone and why we don't want to. Obviously, we do want to save everyone, but just hear me out here. Let me explain what I see a lamppost in the dark night to be. I go there with the best intentions for everyone who comes to me to heal. I'd like to be able to think I can save the world, and I think a lot of empaths feel that way. We want to bring so much love into the world, so much light into the world, even though we've all faced the dark nights ourselves, being able to experience quite raw emotions. Hi, Helen, how are you? So I'm just going to go, like, I was talking to my friend about the same idea. She had someone that she felt like she couldn't help. I don't think we're meant to be the whole journey for a person. I've always believed that. It's like that analogy, it takes a whole village to raise a child. I believe it takes a whole village to help someone out of the dark night. So I'll go back to my analogy, and it came to me because my cousin had some issues with domestic violence, and it was 20 years before she woke up and decided, I want a better life. This could be quite frustrating, and I think at times it was frustrating for me. But there's many people who need a lot of support to get out of that dark area. And it's not their fault, it's just that they haven't seen enough light to sort of experience that hope inside themselves for a better life. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my analogy because I see him jump everywhere. It's just I got really excited when I got the final insight with this idea because this analogy came to me has been with me for 5 years. It's kind of like the better version of you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I think we are lampposts in a dark night, just showing an essence of light for that one person. It's like flicking on the one light switch for that person. Okay, so I'm going to paint the picture for you. So my idea is just imagine you're going down a dark street. If it's all dark, no light, you can't see nothing. It's just darkness. But then you see one light in the distance. They're going to run to that light because they want to see what's in there, what that has to offer. Some people are quite timid by this light. And so it may take some time for them to want to explore it. Instinctively, we know that light's a good thing because even in our primal minds, we know darkness is a scary, dark place. But if you've been living in the dark for a long time, you don't know the light. So finally, they get to this light and they discover something new about their world and the place they live in. And you are this light post, or lamppost, as I said in the thing. So we can only offer our point of view of their situation. We can only offer our insight. We can only give our love to them as much as we can. But sometimes just one person is not enough. Just imagine now that they're in this lamppost and there's darkness around them. If they just relied on that one source of light to comfort them, they're not going to explore other lights that will give them value. This one light will keep them trapped from their own growth. And you often see that in a lot of professional relationships where a person stays with that one person, but they're not going to the next level or growing to the next level. And they're going through the same patterns and patterns again. And being a healer, I can see this being quite frustrating, but it's not in our position to judge the other person's journey. It's our position to understand, acknowledge, and help them the best way we can. So we have to be patient with the person, and we also have to give them courage and hope so they have enough insight for them to go back into the darkness as well, so they can find other lights for themselves. And I know that a lot of us get really frustrated, even quite scared for that person, for them to go back into a similar situation. But that's why we have to have faith in our own self as well, and faith in the person that we're helping, that they have learnt enough from you to be able to go into that darkness again and learn from it. And I'm just going to use domestic violence because being a woman outside of it and experience it myself, it's hard to see why someone would go back to such a dark area to want to face that again and again and again. But you think next time what they've learnt from you is enough maybe to help them survive another day so they can find that other help they need. For that situation. It's like, they may go through the same pattern again, but they have an extra thing. They know how to go inside themselves and find that sanctuary or that safe space, because you help them find that safe space within themselves. But sometimes, as I said, they need to go back into that darkness for them to grow and to look for other lights. And the more darkness they see, the more they're going to instinctively want to search for other lights. Okay, now they found your light. Just imagine them going into this arc area again, and then they find another light, then another light, and then another light, and another light. And then they have a whole street full of lights. So now they have enough light in their streets to see the whole picture. And once they know enough light, they can start kindling their own light in their own selves, because sometimes one person is not enough light for them to grow. Sometimes they need multiple light sources for them to be safe enough to explore change and safe enough to explore their situation enough for them to feel safe to overcome the obstacle. So with a whole, if you were in that position, would you like the one light source to light your way out of the darkness, or would you prefer a whole street full of lights helping you grow, having that support with you? Because it's something I've explored, because there's been a few people in my own life that I haven't been able to save by myself. And this was a big thing for me when I was a little girl. And I took so much responsibility for trying to save people and save people and save people from 6 years old. But then I realized that when I let things go a little bit and let things flow naturally the way they should, these people grew with me, but also they found other networks to grow outside of me too. And what we want to offer in every person that we come to as a healer is to teach them courage, to teach them that they're okay to be where they're at, to offer a non-judgment help. I think when you start saying, I can't save that person, you're judging that person, because you're saying their situation isn't right, that they shouldn't be there. I'm not saying that they should be there, but sometimes people need to go in the darkness and bad situations that we can't grasp being there ourselves, just to learn the lesson their souls had to have the courage to learn on this earth. So this is why, as healers, we shouldn't go out there thinking we're going to save the planet and save the world or save every individual that comes along. As healers, we should be open and loving and accepting and be an example for people to show people that there is a way out of where they are. And I think patience and understanding is the best thing you can offer someone in that situation. And then once you understand them, partake your wisdom with them and help them grow that way. And just by being that lamppost and offering that little bit of light to them, they will have courage to go out and make their own journey. And why would you want to take that special journey away from someone? Like even with my own personal journey, I've had a lot of triumphs. I see them as triumphs, but I had a lot of challenges as well. But without those challenges, I wouldn't see myself as the person I am today. I wouldn't have the wisdom I have today. Why should we take that experience away from a person? Obviously, their soul wants to be involved in that. You don't know why, you don't understand why, but it's not your job to understand. It's your job to be open with them and accepting with them. Anyway, I could ramble on about this idea for a long time, but I think it really takes a community of support, unconditional love to not only raise a child, but to encourage a person to be the best person they can be in this life. Anyway, once again, thank you for listening. Love and light. Love yous all. Okay, I just noticed Stephanie talk. Okay, that's a boundary thing. I think I'm coming from a professional healers, but that's where you can be a lamppost in the night. You will put yourself in harm by trying to save them all the time. Like even if you're just that lamppost, because you should never put yourself in that situation where they're taking from you more than what you can give them. And thank you for bringing that, Stephanie. Because boundaries are very important, because if you are putting so much energy into helping this one person become a better person and not looking after yourself, you're not really helping that person. You're just letting that person be in your light without them growing. So if you and just being in that light without them growing is just going to lead to resentment, frustration, and maybe a loss of yourself. When you know you're feeling that, you know that you need to encourage them to go out and step out into the world to be who they need to be, not be an enabler to let them say, let's stay in this light with me. And that's where trust comes with you. Trust that you have given that person enough to want to move forward, and trust for them that they're strong enough, even if they're telling you, I need to stay with you, please, and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you just got to push that bird out of the nest to see it themselves. The only exception is children, because children don't know any differently. Sometimes children need a little bit more patience and understanding. But if you feel that that person is taking advantage of you, you know that you have already given them the light they need, and it's up to them to start going out and finding other lampposts as well. And there's always going to be people who feel safe with one light. But as I said, by that one light is not going to help their growth. And as I said, I've had family members like that. I'm not going to name anyone because, everyone has family members like that want to hold on to so hard and so much that it feels quite confronting and suffocating. But you feel like you have nothing else to give that person. All you can give that person is love and trust and acceptance. You don't need to give them anything else. I don't mean like trust, like you keep doing the same patterns that you're doing with that person. I mean in trust, in like they're ready to go out and work out their next steps. And that is a hard thing to do. But if you feel that relationship is, they want more than you can give, they're ready to go out and find that next stage in their life, because you only can give what you can give. And if you expect to give more, that's just going to be damage to your own personal self-esteem, because you are who you are. You offer what you offer in this world. And it's about becoming more about yourself. And there are safe boundaries that you should be able to have in all relationships. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for bringing that up. And just because you say you can't help that person, that doesn't mean you're a bad person at all. That's just being honest with yourself and that person to say, I can't help anymore. I'd love to help you, but there are other people out there that has the experience to help you. And sometimes people like that need more professional help, like maybe a psychologist, going to the doctor, and that. But that doesn't still mean you can't be a great friend. It just means that you can't take on their problems. And you can just be that great friend that just supports them and says, have you gone to that psychology meeting? I think it's going to be really helpful. Or sometimes if the person is too attached to your light, you just, as I said, need to push them out of the nest just because you love them too and you want to see the best in them as well. Anyway, I hope that helps, Stephanie, and thank you all for being here. Love and light, Cassie.